Welcome to another Founder Wisdom Pod VC edition. We have Stefan Nasser with us today. Stefan Nasser, he is a founder at OpenVC. Today we're going to talk about funding, startups, innovation, fundraising, venture capital. Steph is usually an SF, guess, or planes between there and France. Now is in the countryside of China. So wish I could see that because I'm pretty sure it's beautiful. Steph, welcome to the pod. Let me know a bit more about yourself and about OpenVC, please.
Hey, Charles, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Hi, everyone. So I'm Steph, co-founder of OpenVC, and for the past 8 years, I've been working in between startups, VC funds, corporate innovation, and all that tech space in general. And 3 years ago, with my co-founder, Lucas, we launched OpenVC. And the idea in a nutshell was creating a new channel, a better way for founders and investors to find each other. And that's what we've been doing ever since.
Tell me first about your first successful startup or a less successful one. For example, I see that Petri here, you were into nanotechnology, incredibly interesting, but only lasted a year. What happened there?
Correct. Yeah. Well, it happened what statistically happens to startups, which is we died. So Petri, damn, we're digging in the wounds. This was so the idea. Basically, I partnered up with a good friend of mine who's a physicist, a researcher, and he had developed this new way to isolate cells, and this is what we call single cell technology. And this is incredibly interesting because most of the biotech today is built on analysis run on a bunch of cells. But when you look at cells individually, they exhibit, some of them have incredible behaviors that are 10x or 100x what an average cell would do. And this is important for, genetic treatments, cell therapies, all this kind of stuff. So all the next wave of biotech. And our idea was, can we develop a company around that new single cell system? We tried really hard. We failed. In retrospect, there are many good reasons why this was not meant to be. But this was my first, real startup, and yeah, that's a battle scar for now that I'm carrying with me for the rest of my journey.
I started over 60 startups and probably 80% failed, for the record, or I creatively pivoted. Pivoted's a nice word. For the record. And I still remember my first one that hurt was my nootropic company, was my first serious startup. We got a bunch produced, we had an epic formula. And in the end, I had all these bottles sitting in the garage. Nothing happened to them. I'm not sure what we ever did with these things. I think we send them to a place for people to dispose of them, which is pretty sad because it was a nice formula. And yeah, the first one always hurts, but then you just realize it's the norm, and just you go on, you learn a lot of valuable lessons. So what lessons did you learn from there that you transposed to OpenVC?
I mean, there's a big one, which is that investors are hyper specialists. And when you raise funds, like we were raising for Petri, you want to find the investors who are very deep into your space, right? So ideally, you don't need to explain to them what you're building because they already know the space, the industry, the market, the competition, and you're not educating them on the problem, you're telling them about the solution. And that's partly why I went ahead and built OpenVC after that, because I was like, hey, I needed investors, in like life science tools, single cell tech, which is very, very specific. How come I couldn't find, how come it was so hard? I found many, but it was, way too much work. So I thought, yeah, maybe that's an angle. There's something, an itch I should scratch here. And that's what I did with OpenVC. So that's the lesson here.
Tell me about the economics of the business, how you get new VCs on the platform, how you get startups to use you.
Okay, so that's a funny story. So before I say that, just for a bit of context, so basically founders and investors sign up to OpenVC, right? We don't scrape the data. This is all people signing up because they want to be part of it. Investors, the promise to them is you're going to receive qualified, curated opportunities, right? So we screen everything that goes through the platform, and you don't get spammed by founders. And on the other hand, for founders, right, you have a whole set of tools to raise funds efficiently, and you have access to investors who are active and, willing to look at out of network opportunities, because most investors, as we both know, they like intros and not so open. So we try to create a place for the ones that are more open-minded. So that's the context. Now, the way it works for investors is, for founders, it's easy. Founders are always looking for investor access. So this is a very compelling value prop for them. We don't have to work too hard for that. On the VC side, on the investor side, so originally what we did a few tricks. One is that we had this initial database of investors that was all wrong. Like, a lot of data was outdated. But then investors were pissed off because, hey, I see my name on that list, but the data is wrong. And say, hey, there's a button, like, claim the profile and edit your own information. And that's how actually we got pissed off emails of investors, or more often it was their like head of communications, head of marketing, because some funds now they have those positions, and that's their job, to keep everything clean. And so we created frustration and gave them a button to solve it and provide us their info. So that's how we did the first, 6 months. And then after that, it was just to kind of, if I'm a fund and I see other funds are on the platform, because I see the brand, the name, the logo, I want to be there too, right? Because, this industry is very gregarious. Can you say that in English? If you do like the others, right? So this was and up to this day, right? The main reason they join is just because they want their names next to the other guys who are also in the same industry. And then they stay because they see the quality of what they get. But the initial impulse is, I want my name on the website.
Right. And how do you make money off that?
Very simple. We have a premium, like LinkedIn, right? We have a premium membership. So most people join and use OpenVC for free, right? We don't charge a transaction fee. We don't charge for access. We don't charge for anything like that, which is in itself very unusual in that space, because most fundraising advisors, investment bankers, everybody charge in equity or in cash. We don't. But if you want to use advanced features, if you get value from the platform, that's really the bet we're making, that you will sign up for free, and then you get a lot of value, you love it, and then you go premium to have all the, the nice to have features that improve your experience and allow you to be more productive and efficient when you raise.
What's your plan for growth? How do you grow such a platform?
That's a good question. So many things. I mean, it's it's 1,000 little screws that you have to tighten up. At the moment, we've done a lot of work on conversion, on on-site conversion, right? Because we had a lot of traffic, and we've worked a lot to improve the value prop and the conversion on the website. I think 2024 is going to be about ramping up acquisition. We're testing new channels. So today we mostly acquire traffic through social media. Twitter, LinkedIn is really key driver for us. A bit of SEO and word of mouth. Word of mouth for us is massive. So those three, will keep doing them and just get better at it. And then we probably want to experiment with a few more channels. And this is, an open topic, even internally. We're just not quite sure what we'll do. We'll probably try some affiliation, because now we have metrics, we understand conversion and how we do well. So I think we can build something here, and that's one, and maybe some referral program for the users themselves, to invite other founders, these kind of things. That's pretty much it. With a few channels, but we just try to execute well and automate what we can.
And is it chicken or egg type of problem? Should I get more VC? Should I get more startups? Or should you just do chicken and egg and get a bunch of people from both sides at the same time?
So to be transparent with you, I think we passed that point, honestly. This was, of course, this was a very clear challenge 2 years, 3 years ago for us when we started. And we just stuck to it. And I mean, it's a long story, but I think now we have enough founders and enough investors and enough predictable flow on both sides that's, we always manage to provide enough value for any user at any given moment, unless, except for very specific cases. Let's say you're a Japan founder in biotech, want to raise from Japan VCs. We're not the best for that. I'll admit it. But any, startup in the US, in Western Europe, like 9 out of 10, you're gonna love it. If you're in, in Africa, Latin America, Southeast Asia, we're probably a 6 or 7 out of 10, depending on the industry, yeah, I think now it's more about growing both sides, but there's enough supply and demand on the platform that everybody gets enough value from it.
What's the market this year? Still lots of dry powder? Are VCs still cutting checks? And if so, what industry?
Yeah, I mean, AI, and AI, obviously. I mean, I'm just repeating what everybody says, but it's true. And interestingly, demand adjusts to supply in that case. So because VCs are investing in AI, now you see a lot of startups pop up in AI. And I mean, we see the data because we see, thousands of startups per month now. So so that's one thing which is quite interesting. There is a certain category of founders who are very VC savvy, right? They understand that industry, they understand the trends, and they know how to package a product for investors, which is maybe not a good thing, by the way. Maybe this is not how you should be, starting a business. You're not building for investors, but those guys, they understand what the market wants and they understand how to raise funds. So that's part of the answer, AI. And another part of the answer is that for, hype investment or vibe investments, I think is dead for, and will be for some time, just raising because you have a good story and a good vision and you're cool. This kind of stuff, it's going to be tricky. But if you have good fundamentals, right? If you have a clear path to profitability in a large market with a differentiated value prop and some form of unfair advantage, their investments are still done, checks are still cut. Yes, it's just that the bar is higher. The bar is higher. A seed today could have been a pre-seed in 2021. So that's a difference. And some people struggle to adjust to that because, the numbers are not the same, the multiples are not the same, but it is what it is. And that's the current market anyway.
Vibe investing. It's first time I hear that. Are you describing WeWork here?
I don't know if it's WeWork or I mean, WeWork is like vibe invest. Yeah, okay. So WeWork is vibe investing at
Adam
Olympic
is
level.
hella cool, right? Like he has the
Yeah.
best vibe ever.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's at Olympic level. I was more thinking about, some founders can do that at, a smaller level, but it's still impressive. Like, I don't know, it's like 2% of founders have this natural talent for storytelling and, just they know how to handle you in a way that makes them desirable and they kind of neg you at the same time, if you know what I mean. Even in the way they write their emails. I mean, this is all, and there's a subculture among some founders in the way they handle investors that is very interesting, because all of that is, especially at early stage, ego driven, and those guys understand that and understand the levers to activate and be sexy for investors, kind of. Those people, by the way, are often very good with dating and and seducing in general.
Right. And sales and
Yeah, absolutely.
partnerships and recruiting top people. I mean, they have a bunch of superpowers, but yeah, they need to back their shit up with building great stuff. And yeah, that you need to be full stack in this day and age,
Yeah.
in my opinion, that is. How will you have some AI in there in OpenVC? Like, could I just chat to a bot and ask it who are the top 10 investors in this category, and then tell the bot to give me their email or even to do the outreach for me? Could that be a feature?
Man, don't spoil my roadmap to everyone, please. Yes. That's definitely on the roadmap. Actually, we've already implemented some of that. So for now we have some AI powered, email. So you want to email an investor through OpenVC. You draft your email and then you click a button, and we're going to pull data from your profile and from the investor's profile to make it custom, right? For example, we're going to look at the investor's portfolio companies, find one that is adjacent to your industry, and say, hey, I noticed that you invested in company A. Matter of fact, we're doing we're following a similar thesis in industry B, and so we thought it would make sense to chat, right? And that's super cool because one of the big challenges with investor outreach is customizing at scale, and I think AI allows that. So this is one thing we're working on. We have a beta version of that. It's live on the website, so you can use it today. It's not amazing, but it's okay. It's good enough that you can use it, and we will definitely improve that in the next few months, along with a bunch of other AI features.
Are you raising this year?
No, we're not raising this year.
Why not?
Well, back to your previous question, it's not a good time to raise. Like a lot of
But you have AI.
Yeah. Okay. So we're not, and of course, you know what I'm gonna say, right? We're just like adding touches of AI, but our product is not an AI product at the end of the day, right? It's not it's not AI at the core, and smart investors understand that, and we understand that, and so I'm not going to try to bullshit my way into this. I'm not an AI company, but I leverage AI in a very efficient way to add value to my product, which is what a lot of people can easily do and should do. But I'm not gonna write a new narrative, just to fit the current trend. I don't think we need that. We're doing good enough. Also, we're profitable. We're growing with a microscopic team. We're doing a lot of things and having an outsized impact for the resource we're putting there. So I'd much rather grow on my own terms for now, and maybe we'll raise when the time is right, the offer is right. But for now, there's really no need for us to raise.
You charge something per month.
Mm-hmm.
Why not take a part of these startups, or at least have a pilot program to streamline that whole process of investing and creating a behemoth of a company by taking a share to just connect people as any good middleman would?
And that's an excellent question, and it's one we've thought about a lot. 3 reasons. I'll be very quick. 1, regulations. If you want to take equity in some way, you have to contend with regulations in every jurisdiction. So Delaware in the US mostly, but also France, UK, and so every regulatory body, right, in every country. And you might, in many countries, especially common law countries, so US, UK, Australia, Singapore, you're gonna need a license or some form of certification for that, which actually can be very expensive. So that's the first reason. Number 2, what was number 2? Damn, I forgot. Number 2, so we have all this equity. It's kind of hostile at early stage, right? And if we do that, we're gonna lose a lot of deal flow. If we tell people, okay, the condition is that you give us some equity, we're gonna lose the best founders. And that's one of the, honestly, the strength of OpenVC is that we don't, is that you can raise with OpenVC for free. And so maybe we don't capture all the value, but we capture the data, we capture the high quality deal flow, and then we can put that in front of investors. And so if we do that, we're gonna lose, tons of deals, and we don't want that. Maybe we'll do that later on as an investment, and we would put money for that equity. But just charging for the service as equity, I think, is not very startup friendly and would damage or even destroy the kind of nice loop that we have right now. So we would rather avoid that.
Steph, where can people find out more about you online?
Oh, I'm the easiest man to find online. So Twitter @Stefan Nasser, LinkedIn Stefan Nasser, and of course openvc.app. So if you're raising, just come and check it out.